My name is Calvin, and this story happened when my girlfriend Kim and I went camping with our friends Marcus and Tasha. We'd rented an old hunting cabin up in the Bighorn Mountains, miles off any trailhead, surrounded by deep forest and steep ridgelines, the kind of place with no cell service, no neighbors, just cold air, pine trees, and silence. The guy at the gas station looked up from his paper when Marcus paid for gas. He noticed the camping gear and asked where we were headed. Marcus told him the name of the old trail road. The man stopped chewing his toothpick. "You going up past Sawmill Ridge?" Marcus nodded. "Better watch yourselves. That land's bad. Things walk on four legs up there. But they ain't dogs. They don't bark, they don't chase, they just wait." We all laughed in the car afterward, but something about the man's face stuck with me. He didn't seem like he was joking. The cabin wasn't much, just a single room with a rusted tin roof, a fire pit out front and a latrine about 30 yards downhill. The forest was thick and dark, even during the day. No trails. No sound except wind in the trees. That first night was peaceful. We got drunk, roasted hot dogs and played cards by lantern light. At some point, Kim said she thought she saw a pair of eyes beyond the tree line, but it was probably just light reflecting off a branch or an animal. But the second night, that's when things started happening. It began with the silence. No bugs, no owls, no wind, just nothing. We were sitting by the fire when we heard footsteps crunching on the pine needles. Marcus grabbed his flashlight and shined it toward the trees. Nothing. But when he turned it off, we saw something. A shape. 4 legs low to the ground, just standing there at the edge of the woods. Marcus turned the light back on. Gone. Not a sound, not even a scuffle. We slept inside that night with the door barred. The next morning, I found something wet on the porch. I thought maybe an animal had pissed there, but the smell was awful. Not like urine, more like rot, like something dead was nearby. There were no paw prints, no tracks, just the stain. That night it got worse. We heard something walking around the cabin. Slow, deliberate. It circled the entire place. Then it scratched the walls. Not a frantic clawing, just 1, 2, 3 long drags. And then silence. Kim whispered, "Did you see it?" I looked through the gap in the curtain, and I saw it. A black dog, tall, too tall, with long legs like a deer and no visible eyes, just slick, black fur and a face that didn't look natural. And behind it, another one, and another, 3 of them, lined up along the tree line, not moving. Marcus wanted to fire a warning shot, but Tasha stopped him. "If you shoot and miss, what happens next?" She was right. We waited out the night, barely slept. By morning, they were gone. We packed to leave, but the trail was blocked. A tree had been dragged across the path, not felled, dragged. We had to hike out 10 miles on foot. But before we left, I saw something on the side of the cabin. 3 long marks, scratches, etched deep into the wood. Claw marks. Not from a bear. Not from anything I've ever seen. I called the ranger station once we got into town. The guy on the line just sighed and said, "Let me guess. Black dogs. Didn't bark. Didn't chase." I asked him what they were. He paused and said, "They're not dogs, and they don't like visitors. I don't go camping anymore. Not in Wyoming. Not anywhere near those woods. Because I still hear them sometimes, when I can't sleep. That slow padding in the dark. That long scratch across the door. And in my dreams, they don't wait anymore. They're already inside." My name is Denise. A few years ago, my brother Luke and I decided to go on a fall camping trip through the Allegheny National Forest. We grew up hiking with our dad, and he used to tell us the woods up there were some of the quietest in the country, undisturbed, ancient. But that silence can hold strange things, and I've come to believe there's something wrong with parts of that forest. We weren't exactly roughing it. We had decent gear, a satellite phone, and enough supplies for 3 days. But we made a mistake. We followed a deer trail too far north and stumbled across the rotting remains of an old fire road. At the end of it, we found something we weren't supposed to see. There was a watchtower, or what was left of one. A rusted steel skeleton with a platform still intact 30 feet above ground. It looked abandoned, unsafe, but Luke wanted to climb it and spend the night up top just for the view. I was against it, but I didn't want to be the overcautious sister. We set up our sleeping bags on the platform, cracked open some whiskey, and stared out at the vast, empty woods. The sky was crystal clear. Everything felt still, until around midnight. It started with a creaking sound, not from the tower, but from below, like a tree swaying, except there was no wind. Luke sat up. "Do you hear that?" I nodded. Something was moving through the forest, slow and heavy. He pointed. That was the first time I saw them. Standing far below, evenly spaced out between the trees, were pale human-shaped figures, perfectly still. No movement, no faces, just skin, like mannequins made of flesh. Smooth where their eyes, nose and mouth should have been. They didn't move, they didn't speak, they just faced upward, toward us. We thought we were seeing things, hallucinating maybe, but we kept watching, and they didn't vanish. They didn't fade. They were just there. Luke shouted down at them. No response. He turned on his flashlight and swept it across the woods. They were gone. All of them. That night, neither of us slept. We heard movement below. Sometimes footsteps. Once, something brushed the ladder. When I peeked down, I didn't see anything, just shadows and the smell of dirt. By morning, it was foggy. Thick, suffocating fog. Luke climbed halfway down and froze. "Denise," he whispered. "Look." There was a figure standing just a few feet from the base of the tower, not moving. Closer than any had been the night before. Its skin looked wet, too smooth. Still no face. Luke climbed back up fast. We packed up in under 5 minutes and started to descend together. But as soon as our boots hit the ground, we heard footsteps all around us. Padded, syncopated. Like some things circling us just out of view in the fog. We didn't run, we walked fast. Calm, but terrified. Every now and then I looked over my shoulder, and I saw them. Always the same. Same height, same spacing. No mouths, no eyes, no sound. We hiked for hours, ignoring the trail, just trying to put distance between us and that tower. By the time we found a road and flagged down a passing truck, it was nearly sunset. The driver asked what we were doing up near the old ranger station ruins. We didn't know what he meant. He said, "Yeah, they shut that section down years ago. Too many people go missing up there. Some say the forest grows people. Copies, kind of. But without anything inside." He called them the Hollow People. I didn't sleep for days after we got home. Sometimes I wonder if they followed us. Not physically, but maybe something else. Because in the corner of my room at night, I've seen a shape once or twice. Same height, same stillness. And I've had dreams of being back in that tower, staring down into the fog and seeing my own face looking up at me. Blank, empty, hollow. My name's Eric, and this story takes place a few years back, when my teenage son Kyle and I went on a backcountry camping trip in Montana. We were trying to reconnect. His mum and I had divorced the year before, and I thought a few days in the wild, just the two of us, might help clear our heads. We chose Flathead National Forest, up near the Bob Marshall Wilderness. No cell towers, no roads, just alpine lakes, dense forest, and silence so heavy you could feel it pressing on your chest. We hiked for hours off-trail and pitched camp in a clearing rimmed with tall pines. No other tents, no other people. Just the sound of wind moving through needles. We built a fire, cooked some freeze-dried chili, and stayed up late talking under the stars. It felt like the trip might actually be working. Then the forest went quiet. No birds, no crickets, just dead air. Kyle noticed it first. He stopped mid-sentence and turned toward the trees. "Dad, did you hear that?" I listened. A low groan, almost like a tree bending but longer, deeper. Then a soft crunch, like something stepping on pine needles. I grabbed the flashlight and shined it toward the trees. Nothing. But I kept it on, scanning the trunks, until I saw it. Eyes. Not glowing, just reflecting light. Low to the ground like an animal, but too far apart. Then they blinked. "Probably a deer," I said out loud. But I didn't believe it. Neither did Kyle. That night I didn't sleep much. I kept hearing something move around the edge of our clearing. It didn't come closer, just circled. Around 3 a.m., I saw it again. This time standing just beyond the reach of the firelight. Tall, thin, man-shaped, but wrong. It moved like it was disjointed, like a puppet hanging from invisible strings. It tilted its head. I blinked. Gone. In the morning, Kyle said he saw the same thing, but he described it differently. He said it looked shorter, stockier. Its head was rounder. That's when I realized we'd seen different versions of the same thing. That afternoon, we packed to leave. We'd had enough. But when we tried to follow our GPS trail back, the app glitched. Said we were still at camp even after an hour of hiking. Then we found a clearing that looked familiar. Same trees, same rock formation. But we hadn't turned back. We were walking in circles. That night, things escalated. The fire wouldn't stay lit. We heard footsteps just outside the tent, and then the breathing started. Low, wet, just beyond the nylon wall. I whispered to Kyle not to move. Something brushed the side of the tent. Not a paw, a hand with fingers. And then it whispered, "I'm here too." In the morning the trees were different. No longer pines, more like firs. The sun didn't rise the way it should have, just a dim glow through thick cloud. I don't know how long we walked, but eventually we found a trail marker that looked new. From there, we followed a dry creek bed to a Forest Service road. A ranger picked us up. We told him what happened. He didn't look surprised. "You camped off trail near the pines, didn't you?" I asked him what it was. He shrugged. "Some say it's the forest itself, trying to know you, but it never quite gets it right." He handed me a bottle of water. "Next time, stay on the trail." Kyle won't go into the woods anymore. He sleeps with the lights on. I've started doing the same. Because sometimes at night, I hear breathing just outside my bedroom window, and when I shine a flashlight through the blinds, I see a shape standing in the trees. It's tall, too tall, but it's learning. And one day, it might finally get me right. My name is Sarah, and I'm going to tell you why I'll never camp in the Pacific Northwest again. Not in the real backcountry. Not where the moss grows thick and the ground feels like it's breathing beneath your feet. 3 of us went out. Me, my boyfriend Tyler, and our friend Jess. We were all from Eugene, and Tyler was big on bushcraft. He wanted to show off this secluded spot he'd found deep in the Umpqua National Forest, somewhere past Tocatee Falls, off the maps. We parked where the dirt road ended and hiked in 5 miles with heavy packs. Tyler led us to this glade, perfectly round, ringed with enormous Douglas firs. The moss was thick, soft like a mattress, and everything was silent. No birds, just the occasional creak of trees. It was beautiful. But it felt wrong, like we were being watched by something older than us. Tyler found it first, half buried in the soil near the base of the biggest tree. A wooden totem, maybe a foot long, carved with strange lines and a face. Its eyes were hollowed out, and the mouth was bound shut with tiny wooden rods crossing it. Jess said we should leave it alone. Tyler laughed, dug it up, and stuck it in the crook of a tree near the fire pit. That night, everything changed. We woke to the sound of cracking wood. Not twigs, roots, groaning, twisting under the earth. Jess sat up first and grabbed her flashlight. The beam barely cut through the thick mist rolling in from the trees. She whispered, "Something's moving under us." The moss rippled. It moved, like something big was crawling beneath the soil, just under the surface. Tyler tried to play it off. Maybe moles or something? But moles don't make the ground pulse like a heartbeat. Then came the dreams. I saw a man, naked and covered in bark. His eyes were pitch black, and roots sprouted from his back like spider legs. He crawled toward me, whispering in a language I didn't know, dragging the wooden totem behind him. When I woke up, I wasn't in my sleeping bag anymore. I was 10 feet from camp, lying on the forest floor, next to the freshly reburied totem. But none of us had put it back. The next night, the ground split. I mean literally cracked, right between our tents. Roots burst up like fingers trying to grab hold. Jess screamed and ran. We followed, slipping and stumbling through the dark. We ran until sunrise. When we look back, the forest behind us was shrouded in mist. No sign of our gear, no sign of the clearing. It was like it had never existed. Weeks later, I found the same totem outside my apartment door, cleaned, wrapped in moss. There was no note, no sign of who left it. Just a whisper on the wind as I stared at it. "You dug it up, now you keep it." Tyler's different now. He stares off a lot, says he still hears the trees talking at night. Sometimes he walks barefoot in the yard, mumbling to himself. And Jess moved away, changed her number. As for me, I don't hike anymore. I don't even keep houseplants. I don't trust anything with roots, because some things grow deep, so deep they remember when we were nothing but prey. And when you disturb them, they remember you. My name is Darren. Last fall, my friend Caleb invited me on a weekend backpacking trip through Chattahoochee National Forest. His cousin Ron and Ron's girlfriend Becca joined us. It was supposed to be one last trip before winter. One last chance to feel that peace only deep woods can give you. But the woods weren't peaceful that weekend. They were waiting. We hiked into a lesser-known trailhead, an old Cherokee route long since overgrown. No markers, no cell reception, just us and the trees. That first night was uneventful. Stars, whiskey, bad jokes. The fire burned low. We were just about to turn in when Becca pointed out into the woods. "Who's that?" she asked. We turned and saw it. A lantern, swinging gently between the trees, dim yellow glow. Too far to make out who held it. The flame moved rhythmically, almost hypnotic. Caleb shouted out, "Hey, you all right?" No answer. The lantern dipped behind a tree and was gone. The next morning we followed where we thought it had been. We found no trail, no campsite. But we did find something else. A pile of rocks, carefully stacked, balanced, and near it, a broken glass lantern, rusted and covered in soot. That night we heard it again, not saw, heard. The flame made a sound, I swear to God, like whispering, not voices, a flickering whisper, like someone breathing through teeth. Then it returned. The lantern floated between the trees, no arm holding it, no body, just light, bobbing and swaying, closer this time. We decided not to chase it, but it didn't matter, because it came back, again and again, until we realized it wasn't leading us anywhere, it was following. On the third night it got inside the camp. We were asleep when we heard the scream, Becca. Her tent was glowing from within. We unzipped it and there was no one inside, just the lantern sitting upright, burning without fuel. Ron was gone too. His pack was still there, no footsteps, no drag marks, just pine needles. We called his name. Nothing answered, just that hissing flame sound, closer now all around us. We ran. No gear, no plan, just into the trees, but the woods looped, every clearing, every bend the same rock piles, the same moss-covered log, and always the lantern. Now there were 2, then 3, then 4, swinging in perfect rhythm like dancers circling prey. And behind them, I swear I saw something tall, slouched, shapeless, like smoke draped in skin, moving just beyond the flame. I tripped, fell, rolled hard, and hit a tree. When I looked up, one of the lanterns hovered inches from my face. Inside the flame, I saw Ron's eyes. I don't know how Caleb and I escaped. We must have crossed onto a hunter's trail. We found a ranger road by sunrise and flagged down a truck. They never found Ron. Or Becca. Not a scrap, just our gear, placed in a neat pile, with a lantern sitting in the center, still burning. The ranger called it the Devil's Lantern. He said people chase it, thinking it's someone lost. But it's not. It's a lure, a baited hook. And if you ever see it, don't follow, don't speak, don't blink, because it already knows your name. Thank you for venturing into the woods with us tonight. From the silent things in the trees to the whispers beneath the roots, we hope these stories linger long after the fire's gone out. If you enjoyed this collection, subscribe to Late Night Horror Stories and True Crime. Hit the bell for more darkness delivered straight to your feed. And remember, don't follow the lantern, no matter how far it calls.